You know, the best wingers, they're judged on try scoring ability. He's probably the best finisher in the league.
Johnstone with a flying finish.
He's got the flash, he's got the finesse, he's got the finishing ability.
Johnstone! Oh, what about that?
He'll just do things that you just look back on in a video and just go like, how did you do that? Like that kind of player.
Taken brilliantly by Johnstone. Is it another one of those finishes? Wow!
When Tom played well, we generally won games.
It's the X factor of the team. You know, someone that when we need something, when we need a try, when we need points. He's had a crazy season.
And Johnstone has got the pace. Johnstone is going to go all the way.
He was pretty downbeat when I first met him. He was, you know, it was tough for him in the situation that was in with the injuries that he'd had.
He had 2 ACLs with Wakefield. Now, just going through one ACL's, you know, it's tough mentally because you know that you're going to be sat away from the players, you're going to be training away from the players, you're going to be doing your own rehab, and that can take probably 9 to 12 months. So for Tom to go through that once and then come back, and then for it to happen again.
It all came crashing down when that happened. I remember laying on the floor and crying, saying, not again, you know, I don't want to go through this again. I was born in Germany. My dad was in the Scottish Army, and then my dad retired from the army after 22 years, and we ended up moving to Leeds, where we settled down there. Just a friend I got speaking to said I play at the local club Stanley, which was literally next door to the school. Come down and try it. So went down, being just a fast little kid, you know, at the age where you just ran side to side and ran around people, and you know, thought it's going pretty well this, I'm enjoying myself, and just kind of went from there. You know, when you were asked as a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always said rugby player. Was at the service area for Leeds and things like this, and was released from that at 16. Kind of got knocked back saying, you're not quite there yet, we're not sure you will get there at this point, so, you know, go do your own thing and we'll see if you ever progress to what we want. So I was pretty miffed, went away. Just kind of started playing rugby for the fun with friends and things like that, but applied for university and things like that. Was getting ready to move there, and then played a game against Featherstone Lions on the main pitch at Stanley. Came up afterwards and said, there's a Wakefield scout here, he wants to speak to you and your dad. Started there on like a trial pay and play deal. Did a year in there and just sort of progressed through the academy from there and moved on.
When I first saw him, I just thought, you know, this kid's he's got a great attitude. He's got some real raw talent, and he's probably going to have a big future in the game. What he had was raw speed. You know, there's certain parts of his game that, you know, we had to try and develop and get better.
Johnstone! And Paul Johnstone has climbed above the Salford defender.
We're all going really, really well. I was really happy and quite starstruck as well. You know, it was at the Man of Steel Awards, so being alongside all the big names, what were getting all their awards and things like that, and to have my name alongside theirs was something pretty special. And then 2017 came around, actually playing against Catalans on Wakefield pitch, just took a carry, went into a tackle, got caught awkwardly. Didn't really think anything of it because I'd not had a big injury. So, you know, I just thought, oh, it's a knee injury, we'll get a scan, go from there. And then just got a call from the physio the next day saying, yeah, you've ruptured your ACL. And I'd known players in the academy what I'd come through alongside, but I'd done 1 or 2 ACLs, and then, you know, that was sort of them. They didn't progress through, and they came out of rugby. So obviously instant fear of, like, it was going so well, what now, career could be over, things like that, because I had no idea what this injury was. Pretty tough year actually. Just to get a call as well during the year from Kevin Sinfield saying that, you know, there was a chance I would make it into the England squad that year, and they had their eye around me to maybe progress through and things like that. But the physical stuff's pretty tough, but it's definitely the mental side of it what really gets you. I struggled a lot that year. You know, there were some things that went on as well outside of rugby, and I used to use rugby, you know, to channel the emotions and things like that. Just an escape, something I really enjoyed to do, as well as obviously with my job. It was everything. It was what I did on you know, I woke up to do. I thought about on days off. It was just all rugby, as well as it going so well at the time. And then I ended up really struggling towards the end of it, that I got in touch with Stuart Dickens, who became our welfare officer, and he just put me in touch with someone at sporting chance just to. It wasn't due to any, you know, thing. It was just I was really struggling mentally, and they sent me to speak to someone, and they really helped me in a way of sort of channeling emotions and how to deal with things, how to look at it from a different point of view and things like that. And yeah, it really got me through the last few months of the injury.
It's play on, and it's Johnstone. Tom Johnstone. Johnstone! He scores the try for Wakefield.
To come back 2018, probably had my best year at the time I've ever played. Managed to make, you know, the dream team and England and things like that, and came back saying, right, let's go one more. Let's play, you know, that little bit better and try and cement an England shirt.
Johnstone is in.
He is a ridiculous finisher and rugby player.
Started the year, from what I remember, pretty well. Hat-trick at Leeds, was loving everything, and then we played Hull FC away, and the game was going really well. We were winning, and I just stepped off my left foot and just felt probably the most pain I've ever felt in my life. Just shoot through my knee. Just couldn't think of, you know, anything else. Was in agony. Just a lot of it was me. I remember laying on the floor and crying, saying, "Not again. You know, I don't want to go through this again." But once I got over the initial, you know, pain and upset and frustration, it was more of a, right, well, we've done this before. We can do it again, although it was a little bit worse this time, because last time it was just the ACL. This time, when we got the scan report back from the specialist, he kind of made a little joke saying, "There's not really much more you could have done to your knee right now. You've ruined everything." So it was just a full clear out, start, you know, fix the knee up and start it from the very beginning.
You know, mentally went through a hell of a lot. I've got nothing but admiration for the way that Tom was as a professional athlete. We didn't always see eye to eye, and you know, no coach ever does with a player. But this certainly wasn't any, you know, kind of hard words or anything like that. I think more just to put an arm around him and just reassure him that everything was going to be okay. And
I remember sitting down with Leah and saying, "I can't do this again. I've done it twice. I'm not doing this again." And you know, it sounds quite morbid to say now, but I still stand by it. You know, if I did it a third time, I'd just come to the point of saying that maybe it's not for me. But I definitely sat down with her a few times during that thing, saying, "I'm worried. I'm scared of it happening again." Like, for a while, playing the last couple of years, I definitely was maybe wincing or being worried, you know, when people were coming in to tackle me, just the fear of having to go through that. Not the pain or it's just such a long process to have to deal with, and it's more the frustration of I love what I do and I love playing rugby, and you physically can't, you're not allowed to. You've got to sit and watch everyone else play week in, week out, and you know, it's the most frustrating thing in the world.
It was pretty tough because a few of them we took really hard, I think. There was a lot of like outside opinions saying that it was made of chocolate.
That's a personal favourite.
Was a favourite, yeah. But I think because I don't know, he just loves it so much. It is our life that then when he's not playing, it really.
Can you see Ziggy in the knee?
It really hit him hard. So. He was really low quite a few times, especially with the big ones.
There's space for Johnson in the corner.
Oh my word!
Yeah, I think, you know, looking back at Tom had some opportunities to leave Wakefield, and I obviously didn't want him to leave because of the coach of Wakefield. But you know, on reflection, was that the right thing to do as a coach? At the time, I thought yes, but you know, when you look back now, you think, well, maybe if he had gone to the NRL when he had an opportunity, or whether he went, you know, to Catalans or to Leeds earlier, you know, we might have seen him in, playing international a little bit more than what he has done.
I've always been a bit of a home bird. I'm very close with my mum and dad. They've kind of done everything for me. I probably wouldn't be where I am without mum and dad sacrificing all them hours and evenings and things like that, driving me here, there and everywhere. But I had spent quite a few years injured at Wakefield and thought maybe, I should repay them for a bit of this sacrifice. They've stood by me for everything. I can stay there. And I guess there was also a bit of a fear of what if I go elsewhere and this happens again, or if I'm not quite as good as what I've been made out to be beforehand, or if I can't perform to that, I'll be out of an environment that I'm used to and things. There was a bit of fear. There was always a fear of leaving as well. I can get in my own head quite a lot, and Leah always has to reassure me when I'm saying maybe I'm not as good as I was, or maybe it was just timing of when I was playing well and things like that, and it's been hyped, and a fear of I can't do it, or I make one bad game, one wrong move, and I can question myself and question everything that I've done. I'd tried to stay, and I'd been loyal and things to Wakefield, and another 3 years had gone by of turbulent years. It was my elbow, I managed to rupture, and then last year it was my groin, and I just couldn't seem to catch a break. I was just sick of it. I remember sitting down with the club, and both parties sort of not agree. It wasn't spoken that it was time to move on, but both parties probably went down the route of it wouldn't be a bad thing.
I think once we sort of had the conversation where Tom was at in his career, probably injury-wise more than anything else, sometimes that change of environment, that complete change of environment, and that's what coming to the south of France and Catalans does, can work. I've seen it work for other players in the past, and I just felt it would be right for Tom.
I must have spent over an hour on the phone with him just talking about things, what he wants from me, the direction he sees the club and everything, and just really resonated with me, just how he spoke. I remember coming off the phone almost instantly and saying to Leah, I think I want to play there. I think I want to go play for Steve.
I know quite a few people at the time sort of raised a few eyebrows about it, but I think having sat with Tom and we sat, and I had the initial chats with him, then we sat with our head of performance and head of medical department. We sat down and went through the history, and we just learnt more about the injuries that he'd had, what he'd sustained, what he was currently going through. And then we were able to make a full assessment after that as to what we thought was the best path moving forward. Of course there's a risk involved, and there is with any player that he signed, but it was a sort of thorough assessment of him, and then understanding the type of athlete that he is and what he responds to and what he doesn't respond to. So understanding him as an individual athlete within our team environment was the most important thing. Then we could factor and change and manipulate things around what would suit him and get him on the field as many times as we could without compromising his speed, his power, his strength and everything else that goes with Tom.
Everything with Tom, physically, he's a great athlete, but it didn't seem like his body reacted well to change. So we kept everything like slow integrations, slow progressions to start with. Tried to keep as many things constant as we could, and then the early parts of pre-season he was like heavily modified with his running loads and the things that he could do. To be honest, Tom's been great. He's been really good off the field. He's a good pro, he's got really good habits and has looked after himself. So once we'd done all the initial safeguarding him, looking after him, protecting him in the early part of the season, he's become far more robust since then, and we don't modify him anywhere near as much as we did in the early parts of the season.
So I came over on the 13th of November alone because Leah was selling the house and shipping everything across, so I had nothing. I had literally a bed which the club had put in the house I'm staying in now. I was sat and I remember I was like, I can't speak French, I don't know what to do. It was a Sunday evening, so everywhere was shut. Apart from Frank's, where I am now. Steve texted me and said, go down there, he's a great guy, he'll look after you. So I walked down, sheepishly walked in and hi, I didn't even say bonjour or anything. And I just sat over there on my own, and Frank sat with me and just talked to me for the evening and just welcomed me and things like that. Settled really well. Took some getting used to with everything shutting 12 all 2 and everyone going for lunch, and then things not being open on Sundays. But once you get into the hang of it, it's such a good place to live. It's amazing. We love it.
Whitley, Johnstone! Johnstone, if that's his hat-trick try, that is superb.
running out of adjectives to describe the skill of this man, Tom Johnstone.
He's a funny lad. Him and Tom Davis have got a little bromance going on. Bit more like Dumb and Dumber.
They call themselves TNT, Tom and Tom. You know, TNT, and they think they're both dynamite, and they think they're the best thing since sliced bread. And
I'll tell you what, by himself he's good. Once you get the two Toms together, and you add Matt Whitley into that equation, they're just a different group. You can be around them for a good 5 minutes, and I reckon that's probably it. Then they're just too much for you. But
as soon as they met each other, we got on really well. I think between us, we've got a lot wrong with us.
Great work. Hey, we're just here to blow the fences apart.
So we clicked straight away. He's a proper nice lad, and Sammy Moore started TNT off, obviously Tom and Tom, and then I think we had initially for Steve Mac is back, and then we had TNT and the theme tune that came with that. So yeah, you can blame Sam Moore for it.
Is that coleslaw?
I think it's like some sort of crustacean, maybe crab.
Yeah, I thought with coleslaw it's not, is it? It's definitely seafood. It's crab, innit? I just thought we had a nice English coleslaw.
now they're good fun, they're great energy. They create great energy for the rest of the group, and that's what you want. And they cross the line every now and again. We have to pull them back and wind them back in. But now they mean well by everything that they do, and they are great energy for the whole group.
Tom's usually gone home at this point. He's usually in at his fourth coffee and he's playing on RuneScape now.
Yeah. Just saw Tom and Whitley bouncing off each other and they were just pretty nuts. I'd not really seen not like it.
I like to go to the beach in the afternoons and then bleach my bathrooms.
Just kind of somehow dragged into the group and just became a three wherever one is, the other two follow, or it's a good crew to have. But we try to get Sam Tompkins and Mike McMeekin in it as well. Like but they stay at arm's length. Sometimes when Sam realises he's been around us too long, he goes, "I'm not part of this crew, I'm not," and distances himself again. But we like to think they're the leaders, but they try and keep away from us.
Daddy? Yeah? You want your bike now? Okay, you go with your bike then.
Yeah, so this is the local vineyard just in our village in Torre. We walk the dogs every day here on the morning and night time because you got the views, and yeah, it's just a lovely spot. It's pretty wild to think that it's on our doorstep sort of thing. So it's a massive change for us, and it's something what we both love. You can just let the dogs off, go for a walk with Isaac, and just enjoy your time.
Most of our day-to-day life is about rugby. Definitely here, but he's got more chance to kind of relax. I'd say we've got especially the beach recovery days have been a favourite, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a good spot.
Just things like that. There's just a lot more. I don't know. It's just so much slower pace than what we were used to, and I do think it's really helped focus on rugby.
His acrobatic finishes, his speed, all of those things that everyone sees, on the highlights reels, but his appetite and his ability to work hard for the team is what outshines any of that for me.
What I'm impressed with him most each week, the amount of tries that he saves off the ball. People probably don't see that on the TV or in the crowd as much, but those little 1%ers that he comes up with week after week, it's a natural gift. Not all wingers can read the play like that.
There's some clubs that really suit a player and some players that really suit a club, and I think with Tom, this is the right balance. I'm just happy for it, really happy for him. Of course, the team benefits when Tom's playing well, but for a kid it was pretty downbeat when I first met him. It was tough for him. To see him now blossom and enjoy himself is a great part of this job.
Stepping out of my comfort zone as well has been a big one, actually making the move to come over here. I think I was too settled in a lot of aspects of life. If something wasn't going on well at rugby, I'd just find myself maybe distancing from it, going out with friends who don't play rugby, who maybe don't have the same commitments. And there was fears, obviously, of coming here will I be able to perform and will I be able to do it? And I think everything's just propelled and gone better than I could ever imagine.